Hey guys, Rodolfo here. So, Apple just sent out invites for what they're calling it their Far Out event, whatever that means, which will take place September 7th. And since they usually have another event in October also, I thought we might take a minute here to talk about what products you should absolutely not buy before these September and October events. So the first product in our list is the AirPods Pro. This pair of headphones was released in October 2019 before the pandemic, and it's one of Apple's oldest models that's still active. So it's a great product, but it's quite old at this point. And we've been getting rumors for quite a while now that we should see the AirPods Pro 2 this year. And with a confirmed event coming up in September and another one rumored for October, I think it makes the AirPods Pro a very likely candidate to get a refresh very soon. Next on our list is the Apple Watch Series 3, which has been hanging around since its release in 2017 and last year Series 7. Now the reason why you shouldn't buy these differ a little bit, so let's talk about the Series 3 first. So this model is old, and it shows. It's very slow, and it has been hanging around as Apple's lowest cost iPhone for quite a while now. But come September 7th, it probably will stop being sold and be replaced for something else instead, since Apple has already announced that the Series 3 is not going to get an update for watchOS 9. So, old, slow, no OS updates, just don't buy this. But what about the current watch, the Series 7? Well, the reason why you shouldn't buy this is simply because the Series 8 is probably going to get announced next week, and likely it's going to be for the same price. Since they're shaking up the lineup a little bit too, there is a chance, although a small chance, that the Series 7 will hang around at a lower price. So there is also the chance that you might be able to get this at a lower price when the Series 8 is announced, even if you are not interested in getting the Series 8. So I think it's just better to wait a week until this event and see what gets announced and then make your purchase decision. But we are not done with Apple Watches yet. Next on our list is the Apple Watch SE, which was released in 2020 as a lower cost alternative to the Series 6. And since it's been a couple years, I think this is probably due for a refresh very soon. And there is also the chance that the SE might take the place of the Series 3 in the lineup and come down in price. So again, better to wait for next week and see what happens with the whole lineup before buying this. Next up is the Apple TV, which is not an old product. It has received a refresh last year, but we're seeing a lot of rumors circulating recently about either a new model or a refresh coming up. So as a general rule of thumb, you should absolutely never buy the Apple TV HD anymore. It's super old, super slow, and just $30 cheaper than the 4K usually. But this is amplified now by the rumors that are circulating about a new model, and we just don't know yet if this is going to be a higher end model that's gonna take the place of the current 4K, and the current 4K is gonna come down in price, or if it's the current 4K is gonna stay where it is and the new model is gonna just replace the HD. So I would say that it's probably best to not buy any Apple TV until Apple is done with all product releases for this year. Next is the iPhone 12, 13, and 13 Pro. I think there is a reason why these September events are usually referred to as the iPhone events, and it's because usually the iPhone is the star of the show. And the reason why you shouldn't buy these right now is just because the 14 is on its way, and with that, there's a probable shakeup in the lineup coming with it too. For the last few years, whenever Apple announces a new set of iPhones, the old Pro models get retired, the old regular models come down in price, and the new set just takes their places at the same price points in the lineup. However, there have been persistent rumors that because of chip shortages and to differentiate the Pro models, the regular iPhone 14 will be getting the same A15 chip that the iPhone 13 has, probably with a little more RAM and clocked a little higher, so it's still going to be faster, but it won't be getting a new chip. That puts into question whether they are going to bring the 13 down in price and still sell it along the iPhone 14, even though it's not super different than the new phone. So will they keep the same strategy, or will they have a new lineup that consists of the SE, 12 and 14 and 14 Pro? We just don't know. So it's better to wait a week and see what happens than spend hundreds of dollars on a new phone right now. Now, I did mention in the beginning that there was an exception, and that is the iPhone 13 mini. Rumors have been consistent that Apple is not going to have a 14 mini, and instead they're going to have a non-Pro 14 Max. So if you like small phones and you have been living with an old iPhone for quite a while and you really want the 13 mini, then it might make sense to get one now, since this option might be going away come September 7th. Now we move on to the October event. So everything that I say from now on is based on what is expected for October and not for next week's event. First up is the M1 iPad Pro, which was released last year and should be up for an M2 upgrade this fall. So if you're sad that your current iPad doesn't run Stage Manager, then just wait a couple months, because iPad OS 16 will be late anyway, and iPads are just too expensive to buy one like 2 months before a new one comes out, and we do expect an M2 iPad to be released in October. Next is the 9th gen iPad, the low-cost iPad, and this is the same as with the iPad Pros. We do expect this model to be refreshed and see an upgrade in October. So if you find it at a steep, very steep discount at a Best Buy or Amazon, then it might be okay to get one, since like if you're into the lower cost iPad, the performance and everything is not what you're looking for. So if you can get this cheap, then it might make sense to get it. Just don't buy from Apple now at the regular price, which is going to be the same price as the new one that's going to be released in October. Moving on to the Macs on this list, the first one is the Mac Pro, and I'll keep this very short. This is a very, very, very expensive Intel machine, and Apple promised us in the beginning of the year that we would see the Apple Silicon Mac Pro this year sometime. So it should be announced in these next two events. Just don't buy the Mac Pro. And the last product on our list is the M1 Mac Mini. It's sad to me to put the Mac Mini on this list because it is my current Mac and I absolutely love this machine. But both the MacBook Air and the 13-inch MacBook Pro, who were among the first M1 Macs to be released, already got an M2 upgrade, and that leaves the M1 Mac Mini as the only Mac released in 2020 that did not get an M2 yet. And we are expecting that to change now in October. There is also a chance that the M1 Mac Mini might stick around like the M1 MacBook Air did at a lower price. So even if you don't care about the M2 performance upgrade, then you still might want to consider holding off on this purchase a little bit to see if you can get it at a lower price when the M2 Mac Mini is released. Now, if you're looking for reasons not to buy other expensive tools and encouragement to use what you already have, then click here to see a video about that, or here to see what YouTube wants you to see, and subscribe here to get more content like this. Let me know in the comments what your predictions for next week's event is. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe to get more like this, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.